Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to the 20th episode of Coffee with Ashish Season 2. And today we've got a very special and distinguished guest with us on the show, Suneet Goenka ji, who's the founder and group managing director. And, before I invite him for the conversation, his background is extremely illustrious. He's the grandson of Padma Bhushan S.N. Goenka ji, who founded Vipassana Meditation Center. He was also the recipient of many awards and honors in his lifetime. And it's great privilege to have Suneet carry the legacy of the family. And his family business was in the business of trading. And they used to have a small travel division called Bandula Travels, which was GSA for Indian Airlines. And then when Suneet entered the business, he really took the family business into a different level, making the Red Apple Travel as one of the largest DMCs globally. And the model and the ethos behind Suneet's vision is a customer-centric driven approach, delivering a quality experience and offering thorough destination know-how and subject matter expertise. And from just 15,000, then now Red Apple Travel handles more than 350,000 travelers annually, with the numbers increasing steadily. They have industry partners and strategic tie-ups with more than 40 countries across all continents, and the annual turnover is more than 115 million US dollars. The company has more than 19 destination offices and 20 sales offices globally. And this is all thanks to Suneet's keen sense of perception and intuitiveness, and always eyes on what the customer really wants. The company has also been led under Suneet's guidance and vision to integrate static content, real-time pricing and availability via XML and APIs. He has also established strong tie-ups with trade associations like OTAs and E2A. And under his leadership, Red Apple Travel has won numerous number of international awards, and the company has been at the forefront of what they do. And Suneet's vision is now to make Red Apple Travel one of the largest DMCs in the world, with best services matching global standards, industry expertise, driven by pioneering technology and designing contextual products. So without further ado, it's my great privilege and honor to welcome Suneet Goenka ji on today's session. And I'm going to request Ashish to have a conversation with you while I also sit back and enjoy my coffee.
Thank you so much, Karthik.
Right.
Thank you.
Well, thank you for being here today. And how's your coffee, Suneet?
Brilliant.
Enjoy it. So, obviously, I can't find a better person than you to ask about changing consumer behaviors. But before I get down, both in terms of the leisure and MICE industry worldwide. But before I do that, Apple is a great brand, we all know. But why Red Apple? What does that
So Ash, obviously, Red Apple started 19 years back. I was pretty much fresh from university at that point. And I was specializing in marketing, and that's my forte. So I always believed the color red, being from the South Asian belt, red was extremely a color that we always believe with good luck, with prosperity. If you understand Chinese mythology, it's pretty much from there. Yeah. And Apple, they kept the doctor away. It was the simplest form of marketing. So as a part of my dissertation, I always wanted a brand which is simple, easy to remember, something which can be expanded across verticals. If not just travel, it can get into logistics, it can get into transport, wherever, So it's just a unique brand for us to start building on. That's
Great.
why.
And in the times we have come in, Apple is no more a fruit, as they say.
I know, absolutely.
All right.
It's a way of life. It's a way of life.
So tell us about this consumer buying behavior everybody's been talking post-COVID, both specifically in terms of the leisure and then the MICE specific.
So obviously, I think we're still understanding the changes in the consumer patterns, Ashish. It's still very, very new for us to understand or say this is a change that has happened. But definitely, I think what has happened from, if you break the travel into leisure or MICE, as far as leisure travel is concerned, I think the biggest change I'm actually forecasting is there is a lot of focus towards experience-driven holidays. There's a lot of focus, obviously, towards safety, towards branded hotels. People are very, very careful of where they're traveling, how they're traveling, safety standards. Price may not be the driving force today, but safety and quality is perhaps taken far over. So we're seeing a huge change as far as that is concerned, if you look at right now in terms of outbound destinations in India as a source market, and you look at two products that are pretty much selling, Maldives and Dubai. Maldives has taken over completely. I mean, if you Maldives recorded 100,000 tourists, if I'm not mistaken, last month from India, which is a very, which in terms of a product is a very well priced, as a very highly priced product. So people are not just compromising in terms of budgets, but they're looking at safety first. So that is a serious paradigm shift, which I've seen in terms of a behavior of a customer. Of course, the business will get diverted into brands, will get diverted into hotels, resorts, or transportation companies, which can guarantee safety and promise that as a utility.
And in the MICE vertical?
Well, we were perhaps the only company which operated a large MICE group in the month of December from India. We did a 350 passenger net company group from Gujarat, from Rajkot. And it was amazing to see that a company even decided to travel here. But obviously, one of cases, we are seeing a slow and steady demand that is increasing for travel. But even today, it's a lot of eventing is happening e-based. We're having requests for doing e-based eventing, for doing eventing from, or for example, a gala dinner on Zoom. That is something which is taking a huge toll on us in terms of entertainment. Buying patterns per se with MICE, obviously the group sizes are going to be smaller. The number of passengers traveling together will be far more curtailed. I don't think we'll have 1,500 passengers and 1,800 passengers traveling very soon, which was the crux of our MICE business. Right. So yes, it'll be a very niche, small business, which in a way is good because you'll only have the creative ones who are able to curate great products who will survive. The mass market will start to reduce drastically.
So what about the overall age patterns demographically? Do you see the elderly not traveling as such and younger a lot more?
Yes. So we've actually seen typically, I mean, we opened our offices in Dubai post end of June, July 1st week. We've been operational ever since. We haven't welcomed senior citizens at all. We haven't. We've rarely seen a family with a senior citizen traveling with them. But the demographic right now typically are the young between 25 to 29, going up to late 40s, families with young kids, and that's the pattern. In fact, family holidays have drastically reduced right now as well.
Yeah, I'm a strong believer, and more so now, Suneet, of India producing its own under 30 brand on a holiday, and like Contiki Holidays, and they're specialized brands. Correct. And somehow I really wonder why that hasn't happened. It's got all mixed with across.
Ashish, I think the biggest problem with India as a marketplace was always price driven. Unfortunately, no one really spent time to break this market into smaller segments and focus on those segments. Right. I do remember we worked very closely with a company up in Gurgaon or Delhi who focused only on senior citizens travel. Right. And I was very impressed because they went into detailing of how they would want to travel.
And then you suddenly had the women's only programs coming in.
Absolutely. The women only program has been in India for a while now, but I just felt that there was a slow and steady move towards niche markets. There was a lot of focus on enabled travel. I remember working on a whole piece with Cox and Kings. Unfortunately, what happened, it got shelved, but they were working very seriously on enabling the disabled to travel. Right. So there are so many segments right now which is available. The youth, I think, is a brilliant market for someone who really wants to focus on that product. But for that, you need to understand, Ashish, we as travel agents, tour operators, have to know our product. And what India lacks today, or a lot of Indian travel agents lack, is product knowledge. The youth get onto Google, they get onto TripAdvisors, they research, and they don't want to do a simple safari and a Dow cruise and go back. They want to see the pubbing side of Dubai. They want to see the nightlife. They want to see good restaurants. They want to experience culture. The product base is totally different. So for that, we have to be equipped well.
Yeah, I do tend to agree, and including single traveler holidays. So I think India is just getting ready for that. And
absolutely. As long as someone has the bandwidth in terms of content, product, and execution, correct, it's only then that's going to work.
Correct. I mean, we got to move beyond just being a transactional to more
Market.
experienced market.
Correct.
But,
Absolutely.
but let's look at this revival when everybody talks about dooms and gloom and revival. We are into mid-February of 2021. What are the time frames you see for overall revival?
So to me, I think we are on the path of revival already, Ashish. I
Right.
mean, the fact that our offices are now open, we've started handling passengers, which felt like a dead end a few months back. We're on the track to recovery. A lot depends, Ashish, on the situation, on the destinations which are going to welcome tourists. If you look at Europe, till the time Europe is not capable to handle the influx of tourism or handle a potential threat of one more surge, they're not going to open up. So India is ready to travel. Indians are more than ready to pack their bags and leave. It's the limitation of destinations, it's a limitation of places where they can visit. To me, I would see realistically in terms of timelines, Southeast Asia opening up by August, this year in 2021. Europe, I would be very happy to see if something happens in summer, even if it's a mono destination level. A few countries may allow one country, two country tours. I don't think the cross-border tourism would actually happen in Europe anymore, at least for the first few months. But yes, realistically speaking, recovery would happen not before 2024 or 2023 for the volumes that we were doing in 2019, for sure.
Right. And I just get the feeling that, come that time which you're mentioning, India, perhaps if the travel industry looks forward, is ready for a huge scale for the simple reason, digitalization and technology, everybody's realizing what it can do. Forget about whether you're in a B2C space or B2B. For me, there is a thin line today between a B2B. It's the consumer at the end of the day, right?
Correct.
And when transactions came in air ticket, and people were saying, oh, do we keep 3%? Do we keep 5%? And I've said, the customer decide how much are you worth to keep
Absolutely.
it. And I think the same hasn't really happened in the holiday business, which ultimately will get down to doing that. I'm talking about the consumer. But lastly, the point I'm trying to make is not only did I mention about single holidays or under 30s and so on, that growth, but with this work away from home, suddenly we know there is no need to put huge infrastructures in Gurgaon to be able to handle that. I could have my consultants scattered all over the country to be handling a holiday locally. And that's where verticalization and localization would probably pay us. So your quick take on that? Do you think we're future ready, or will I have to get future ready?
Yeah, Ashish, I think one thing that would have happened post-COVID, during COVID, for any travel entrepreneur, he would have devised a unique business model. We all realized that we were very people heavy. We were extremely elongated in our processes. Our way of thinking was traditional. So yes, these few months, definitely, I think there's going to be a whole paradigm shift in the way an average travel company actually thinks. If we do not have a business model and a niche product to sell, there is going to be no space for us. Price may not be the only factor that's going to keep us going post-COVID. So definitely, in terms of a business, in terms of a process, everyone's going to start cost optimization. Technology will be the biggest driving factor. If you look at India today, Ashish, India is this huge opportunity in terms of incoming, in terms of domestic holidays, which is still happening offline. Imagine if you could just push this into a great platform and make India sellable globally on that platform.
Right. Sure.
A game changer.
Yeah. No, like I said, this narrative about OTA, to me, the word OTA has lived its sell by date. That everybody is online.
Yeah.
The question is either you're facilitating a travel or somebody is doing it himself.
So Ashish, an OTA is great as a hotel aggregation model today.
Right.
But tourism is more than a hotel aggregation model. Unfortunately, the OTA business as well has become low margin. People who are who have a decent funding available are dumping funds there, discounting the product. It's not driving numbers today. The OTA model is great from a travel agent's perspective because he's able to get a product. But when you talk about tourism, you have a huge part aspect to it in terms of the land component, in terms of transfers, food, guiding, blah, blah, blah. So if you can't dynamically package the entire experience into a great platform, you're just going to have half-baked products that is going to be sold. And that's perhaps the only reason India is not a very great sellable product on the OTAs, primarily because just one aspect of the travel is bookable online today.
Right. So let's come down to inbound and my own statement about India not being an internet bookable destination. Again, I don't repeat the word B2C. The people do get defensive when we come to B2Bs and B2C in India. But how does the perception of India, because like I said, over the decades, I haven't seen the inbound model in India change. It's pretty much dinosaurs remain the way it's been. How do you see it changing? Once you take a global overview, you've seen incoming into all countries, literally. You've seen it change. So how do you see India would change?
So Ashish, to me, the toughest destination, I'm Indian, okay, born and raised in India. The toughest destination for me to work is India. Because of multiple factors. A, infrastructure. B, the quality of deliverance. C, the ability to be able to sync everything into a platform. For example, if I have to book a holiday in Thailand or Singapore or Dubai or anywhere else in the world, I can get all my supply chains, my vendors onto the platform and allow a customer to book an end-to-end product on the system. With India, it's a mammoth task. Not because of the size of the nation, but it's also simply because a lot of hotels, even today, don't understand the difference between a static rate and a dynamic rate. A lot of vendors don't understand the difference between a DMC, retail, or a wholesale platform. So customer experience is varied. So to me, India is a very tough market till the time you're not able to contract and build that network well, and then put that into a platform.
Right. Two major components of inbound being, of course, accommodation and transportation. I'm at least glad this COVID is opening the eyes for the accommodation sector.
Correct. Absolutely.
There weren't any decent even APIs available for hotel aggregation. OTAs had to spend their own money to put across an API.
Correct.
I now do know of very number of people who are trying to build that data experience into hotel management in terms of pre-registration, in terms of the quality of contents, quality of pictures and so on. So I think that could all evolve into a better accommodation. As far as transport is concerned, well, we've seen Ola and Uber show us the way. And if they're showing us the way, I don't see why there'll be more of red buses and so on, which will come into this game. So perhaps I think we're all waiting to see India inbound change drastically over the years.
India is a country with great opportunity, Ashish. It's our mindset. We as the flag bearers, we as the frontliners in the tourism business need to make that change and drive that change. So yes, I mean, I have been talking to a lot of people during COVID. Domestic is a space that we are exploring very strongly. Incoming, we started 2 years back, Ashish. We did see some decent numbers from Europe. But I just felt, as I said, it was cumbersome. Handling one booking took us 2 weeks, which is unheard of in anywhere else in the world.
Right. And this thing about outbound from India. I mean, to me, outbound is a great leveler even for inbound, because, if there is a DMC handling your outbound in Europe or anywhere, you can change his mind to look at your own country to support. I'll give you a little example. And that came in the 90s when I set up P&O Travel, I mentioned to you. Whereas P&O Travel, we were looking at from outbound perspective, I actually got them converted into thinking about India. So I think the whole relationship which you do with DMCs worldwide could play a very strong role and for the others.
So, Ashish, the fact that we had to open India incoming was because all our partners in Spain, in Latin America, in Africa, were pushing us for India. They're like, Suneet, we're buying more than 15 destinations from you. You're Indian, and why the hell are you not giving us India? So that's when we started the incoming business in India. So yes, for us, the relationships globally are in place. We are looking at incoming very, very strongly, Ashish. I mean, it is an area of great interest for us as a brand and as a company.
Right. So where do you see, lastly, the Red Apple Group 5 years from now as we speak? And suppose we were to have another coffee 5 years from now. Obviously, we won't wait to connect with each other before then. But where do you see it?
Ashish, honestly, right now we are going to consolidate. We spent the last 18 years building offices, building destination offices across the globe. Our focus right now is just on pure consolidation of markets. So we've spent the last 1 year and the next 1 year just going inwards into the existing markets that we have. We would start focusing more in terms of niche products. That's something which we're very, very focused on, and technology. 5 years down the line, you will see a far more aggressive Red Apple Travel with a much better technological platform. We obviously want to expand our verticals, whether it's a cruise business, it's going to be religious tourism, adventure tourism, but start selling experience-driven holidays. We want to educate people that it's not about going to Singapore and doing Universal Studios and coming back. Singapore is a country with culture, with culinary experiences, with gastronomical experiences. It's a mix of everything. So 5 years down the line, obviously we would increase our share of DMCs across the world. At the same time, strengthen our content, strengthen our product and technology, and build on the markets that we are in.
And I certainly hope, lastly, you will embrace the upcoming entrepreneurs, the startups, because my biggest concern over the years, last 4 or 5 years, I must say, Sumeet, has been that these guys struggle on their own and their only aim is to raise VC funding. And that's because I do believe it's the existing players who don't embrace them, and they help fill the gaps from existing architecture. How do you, Suneet, react? Do you see a space for them in your future?
Of course, Ashish. Of course. We started as a business. We set up the restaurant model just with that vertical. We found a young entrepreneur in Malaysia who was starting up. We went in as a VC and started building up from there. Same thing in Thailand. When it comes into to our situation today, we are more than happy to welcome people with great technology, innovation, ideas, and synergize what we can work on, because outsourcing is going to be the best way forward for us. We do not want to reinvent the wheel. We do not want to start from scratch. We're happy to help connect, synergize, strategize, and build from there. So there is a lot of opportunity as far as Red Apple is concerned. We're happy to look at good business models and look at investments, look at whatever, and take things forward from there.
So
Sure.
in terms of the DMC outbound market, India would rate where? Number 2, 3, or number 1 market for overall group of yours?
So as a source market for us, Ashish, India still remains as a number 1 market for us.
Right.
India constitutes to almost 45% of our global turnover.
Right.
So yes. And the balance comes out of Southeast Asia, the Middle East, Spain, and Latin America. These are the core markets that Red Apple actually sells in.
Right. Good. Great.
Fantastic.
And it's been nice chatting up with you. And I'm going to pass you to Karthik. I'm sure he's already full with some questions. Karthik himself is actually a technology guy. He's into AI and ML, and I'm sure he's full of emerging.
Fantastic.
So over to Karthik. Thank you, Suneet.
Thank you, Ashish. Lovely having a cup of coffee with you. Thank you so much. Thanks.
Over to you.
Ashish, Suneet, I want to ask you, since Ashish mentioned AI, and you have been spearheading technology, vision at Red Apple and otherwise. So, what's your vision of technology in the future for the travel industry? Do you see things like AI, IoT, ML being really implemented, or you think they'll die?
They are already being implemented, Karthik. If you look at AI today, if you look at the US, you look at the UK, it's already being implemented. So there's no two ways about the implementation of AI in our space. Yes, right now as a business, we remain a B2B model where we do not retail to an end customer. But AI, even for us, is a great option where if we could just have the intelligence of throwing relevant products to relevant people, just being able to understand patterns, get the intelligence of harnessing how a consumer thinks, how a travel agent works, changes us. So completely, technology is the only way forward for anyone in the travel space today.
Right. So just to add to what you said, that you cater to not the end customer, but the travel agent. Somewhere I think, and I'm sure you're looking at it, the scattered distribution which happens in India. Today Bareilly
Correct.
is as much a source market as Bombay.
Yes.
Let's put it
Yes.
this way. So I think even from that perspective of B2B, which you do, I think you must keep the ultimate consumer in mind and probably help the agent empower it easily so he
Right.
can actually have a plug and pay, which he gives that experience to his consumer.
Absolutely. So Ashish, that was the whole thought process when we built the Red Apple online platform.
Right.
We see today, I think the first thing we need to understand, which may take 2 minutes extra of your time,
Yeah, sure.
the difference between a DMC in India is a word which is very wrongly
Yes,
misinterpreted.
yes.
I come across a lot of travel agents who call themselves DMCs. To
Mm.
me, what is a DMC? A DMC is a company which has a physical base in a foreign country, has physical infrastructure there, who manages that destination
Right.
from A to Z. I cannot be sitting in India and managing a destination in Dubai. You still need a local person to do that for you.
Yes.
You may be specializing in Dubai as a product that makes you a wholesaler, a consolidator, but not a DMC. Today, the most important thing for us to understand is, as a DMC for us, our intent was to create a platform which empowers a small travel agent sitting in Bareilly who could get every product available for Dubai or Malaysia or Singapore on his screen and close a sale in 5 minutes, collect the money from his passenger and walk out, rather than sending 15 emails all across the world or posting inquiries to 10 different travel agents, consolidating rates, and then looking at the cheapest option. So today, technology is the only way that can expedite a fast sale. If you're not going to be able to empower a travel agent in rural India where the business actually is, there is no core business in Delhi. The business from Delhi is coming from Punjab, from Ludhiana, from Amritsar, from Chhattisgarh, from Nepal. So if you take that business away from the Delhi agents, Delhi would be a very small market by itself.
Right.
So yes, a lot of people like us want to work with large consolidators in India because we are not capable to handle the load or influx of the queries. At the same time, if we can educate those travel agents to hook onto the system and book and voucher the bookings, we're very happy to do that. So yes, the going way only, Ashish, is technology and a platform.
Yeah, and the other thing, of course, is travel and tourism and all its products put together is the largest e-commerce distributing segment. So
Absolutely.
today you get distributed by Amazons and the Paytms and the WhatsApp platform and WeChat in China, as you know.
Absolutely.
So therefore, if this was happening and it was democratized in that manner, so the real question will come is that it'll be non-travel guys with non-travel knowledge who will be distributing things. So therefore, you've got to democratize it like the Amazon does it.
But which is happening. If you look at all the new startups today, Ashish, are not travel veterans. They are guys who are coming out from, the big fours. They're the guys from FMCG products who believe, who have a vision, and they're building technology based on that vision. So I think the space that we are in is going to have a 360 degrees change in the next few years.
Yeah, and Suneet, I think that's good for the overall future.
100%, 100%. I mean, if we are not going to be open to innovate, if you're not going to be open to change the way we think, we would not last in this space for long.
Wonderful.
Great.
Of
So
course,
I think with this,
stays on.
we are at the end of today's session. It's been so refreshing listening to you, Suneet, in
Thank
the
you, Karthik.
conversation. Really appreciate and grateful to you for taking out time and being with us. Thanks, Ashish, as always. And thanks to our audience members for joining in. And we'll see you next week.
Thank you so much, guys. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Have a very good evening. Stay safe. Thank you,
too.
Ashish. Bye, Karthik.
Bye.
Bye. Ciao. Bye.